that around 12:30, seven terrorists armed broke her door and reached the safe room and succeed to open it. My son Amit tried to struggle them. He held on with his hands, but she told him, Amit, give up. Don't put a fight, because she was afraid he'll be shot. So he raised his hands and he went down on his knees, and she hugged the two little girls, and they entered the safe room.
Meet Nir Shani, a 46-year-old physical therapist who has spent his entire life on Kibbutz Be'eri, which is just a couple of miles from the Gaza border in southern Israel. Nir has 3 daughters and a son named Amit. Up until October 7th, Be'eri was known as an ideal place to raise a family. The sunsets were breathtaking, the fields lush and green. It was a vacation spot that had it all, with cultural events and communal singing gatherings that attracted visitors from all over Israel. There was a running joke in Be'eri that the only reason the kibbutz was so close to the Gaza Strip was that otherwise it would be too perfect. Be'eri's proximity to Gaza made it a frequent target for Hamas rocket attacks, but typically these rockets were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome. That all changed on that fateful morning of October 7th, when Hamas terrorists infiltrated this once idyllic place and turned it into the site of one of the worst massacres of the invasion. Approximately 70 terrorists entered the kibbutz on motorcycles and in vehicles, eliminating the security personnel at the entrance. They seized the village, going from house to house, either shooting or capturing residents and setting homes on fire. Shockingly, they were accompanied by a camera crew that documented the entire attack, which they later paraded all over Palestinian media. Residents sought refuge in safe rooms, but the militants detonated these rooms, resulting in a massive loss of life. Entire families were murdered that morning. In this once affluent and tranquil community of 1,200 residents, 89 individuals were murdered and another 29 were captured and are assumed to be in Hamas's captivity in Gaza. I visited Nir in his hotel room on the 16th floor of a luxury Dead Sea resort, where he and over 1,000 other survivors of the attack are being sheltered indefinitely. We sat in a small room with mattresses on the floor and his family's belongings neatly stacked along the walls. His ex-wife and 2 daughters sat quietly in the adjoining room, doing their best to avoid being put in front of the microphone. Looking over the Dead Sea, in a place that felt so quiet and safe, Nir shared with me the story of what happened to his family.
My son Amit was at my place till 10 o'clock, and then he came to me, gave me a hug. He told me, Daddy, I'm going to sleep at Mommy's house because we are divorced for the last year. And I went to sleep. And around 6:30 in the morning, I woke up hearing bombs. I was alone at my house. My ex-wife was with the 3 youngs. Amit, who is 16, Emma, who is 12, and Rani, she's 9. She lived quite in the center of the kibbutz. And in the beginning, there was no gunshots and no fight at her neighborhood. The terrorists reached there later on, around maybe 11, 12, something like that. Many hours after they entered the kibbutz. And my older daughter, as I said, she wasn't in Be'eri, she was in a different kibbutz, which was not attacked. And then there was the Tzeva Adom, the alarm that tells there is a rocket attack on the kibbutz, on the village. So I came out from my bed, put a shirt, put shorts, and went to the safe room. And while I'm there, I started hearing gunshots. So I made a phone call to my ex-wife, and I asked her, do you hear gunshots? Do you know anything about it? And she told me, yes, look in the application. We got an application called Mekomi, which is for the kibbutz, for the village. Usually for messages like the pool will be closed at that time, there is a certain cultural event today or tomorrow, and so on. And it was written, there might be a penetration to the kibbutz, stay in the safe room, don't get out. I locked the door, shut down the windows, and I stay in my safe room. And a minute later, I was hearing like screaming and shouting in Arabic, very loud, and gunshots, and someone knocking hard on my door, probably trying to break it and enter. And it felt like I'm surrounded with terrorists around my house. And we have a WhatsApp group of my neighborhood, the Kerem neighborhood, which is the newest in Be'eri and the most western, most close to Gaza. And there were many messages of other neighbors, like I see terrorists on my grass. Someone wrote, they shot to my house. And then it got a little bit quiet for a while. It seems like they are ready for a battle, that they are waiting for the army to enter and to fight them. But that didn't happen. And after 1 hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, around 9:30, there was a huge noise, like a mob, people coming from the Gaza Strip with cars and motorcycles. And then they worked real hard on my door and they broke it. And I had like many footsteps inside my house. And they immediately reached my door of the safe room and they were trying to enter. And I was struggling with them. I was holding the handle and keep it locked. While I'm hearing them breaking the house, trying to break the walls, like knocking real hard. And then I heard a fire, like they lit a fire inside the house. And there was smoke coming under the door, and it was getting hot. The door got real hot. I used one of my daughter's blankets to put under the door that the smoke won't enter. And I took a pillow cover and I tied it on my face that I won't breathe all the smoke. And I stay holding the handle with the fire, saying, okay, I'll try to survive as much as I could. And all that time I was texting in WhatsApp with my daughter and with my ex-wife. And in the neighborhood as well, because I said, I got many terrorists inside my house, they're burning my house, please come help. And at that time, it seems like it's going to last maybe a minute, maybe two, and that will be it. So I wrote my daughter a goodbye message. That I love her forever, and I trust her in everything. She know what I meant. And I wrote to my ex-wife. And I was holding on. It was like in a chimney. It was a lot of smoke. And in the minute they broke to the house, they turned down the electricity. There was no electricity, so it got dark. And I had terrorists going up the stairs and taking position on my roof. And there was another one outside the windows of the safe room. So I was thinking to myself, I don't have really a chance to get out, even if the smoke will be hard, unless the fire will catch inside the safe room. The best thing I can do is just to hold on in the safe room, even though it's smoky, because if I'll get outside, I have little chance to survive. During that time, I can see what others writing, that the terrorist is entering another house, and someone wrote Shema Israel. They broke to my safe room. He was kidnapped. And I heard screams of someone getting out of his room. And there was a lot of shooting. Since 9:30, there was a lot of shooting. Like, it was so loud all the time, non-stop. And I was just praying, make it stop. I want a bit of a quiet. I was really concentrate on staying alive, because I told myself, I have a role in this world. I have 4 children, and they need a father, and I don't want them to be orphans. So I have to hold on. And I kept real quiet. I think they thought I probably died from the smoke. And we were waiting for the army to come. It took hours. The first time I heard some kind of a battle was around 3:30. But all the time, in 9:30, at 10, at 11, you're always thinking, okay, it's been quite a while. It's many hours. They're going to be any minute. But they didn't came. And around 12:30, I lost contact with my ex-wife. Because she was texting me every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And then when I saw she's not texting me, I text her, are you okay? And there was like 2 gray V's, not getting blue, like she's not seeing the message. So I texted Amit, my son, and again, he was not looking at the message. So I figured, okay, there is no Wi-Fi, and that's the reason they can't read the texts. But that wasn't the case. Later on, they told me what happened. And what happened is that around 12:30, 7 terrorists, armed, broke her door and reached the safe room and succeeded to open it. My son, Amit, tried to struggle them. He held on with his hands. But she told him, Amit, give up. Don't put a fight, because she was afraid he'll be shot. So he raised his hands and he went down on his knees, and she hugged the 2 little girls, and they entered the safe room. They told them to come out from the room. Emma, who's 12, she didn't have the chance to put her clothes on. She was just with a shirt and the panties. So one of the terrorists told her, go and put on trousers. So they went to her room, and she found, it was a mess, but she found trousers. She had a gold necklace, so they took it out from her. They rubbed the place, but they put them on the grass, and they went to the refrigerator and brought them water to drink. And then they entered the neighbor's house, which is the Sharabi family. There was the father, Yossi, who also was kidnapped, the mother, Nira, 3 daughters, and the older daughter boyfriend, his name was Ofir Engel. He's from Kibbutz Ramat Rachel, nearby Jerusalem. So they took the 2 families together, and they took them a bit western to a certain inside road in the kibbutz. And they tied Amit and Yossi and Ofir, the 3 males, with ropes behind their back. And they brought a black private car. They put them in the back seats, and they drove away. And then I asked them, okay, and what about you? And they said, we just were sitting on the grass, and 1 minute the 6 terrorists were around us, and the second they were gone. So they can't explain what happened. It's just they vanished. And they found themselves 2 mothers and 5 girls on the grass, all around, screaming in Arabic, and gunshots, and the fight and the battle. And they understand they must take cover someplace. So they went to the first house that was nearby. It was an old lady's house. The door was locked. Eventually they opened a certain window, they broke it, and they entered that house. They knock on the safe room door, asking for the woman to let them in, but she thought it's terrorist, so she didn't. So they just sat on a certain room on the floor, taking cover, hoping no one will enter, keeping real quiet. And that was the situation till 10 o'clock, around 10 o'clock in the night. Then they heard the soldiers, they heard Hebrew. So they yelled, don't shoot, there are kids in here, don't shoot. And the soldiers rescued them and took them to outside the kibbutz, to a certain parking lot, which was where they put us all together. I was there for an hour before my family came. And when they came, I was so happy to see them because I didn't know what's going on with them. And they were crying and weeping and saying, they kidnap Amit, they kidnap Amit. So it was very emotional. But the first thought and feeling I had is like, okay, he's alive. If he's kidnapped, he's alive. So it's better than the other option. And all the three of them are alive. So I have my daughters and they have their mother. So it's a good thing. 2 weeks later, it was 3 days ago, I think, a representative of the army came and they told us again that now they are in the most level of certainty that he is kidnapped, that he is not missing.
Nir, can we go back to what you were doing in your safe room, what you did the rest of the time that you were in there?
Around 4:30, it was the first time I heard Hebrew. And after so many hours that all you hear are screaming in Arabic, like real loud, real violent. And the Hebrew is like so sweet at that moment and so human. And around 7 o'clock in the evening, 4 soldiers enter my house and ask, is there anybody here? Is there anybody here? So I was thinking to myself whether to answer or not, because you can't be sure it's terrorist or not. Eventually I said, yes. And then I didn't open the door, but I talked with them a little bit to be sure. And then I open up. So they helped me get out of my house. I had like 3 seconds maybe to look around, like Lot's wife. I didn't look back, but I just saw it's all black and burned. But the house didn't collapse. It just was burned. My neighbor's house was set on fire, like huge flames, no roof. All the stairs are in flames and going up to the sky. And the house behind him is burned, and the house nearby is burned. And all the sky are black with smoke. And there is a car burned with its doors open, all 4 doors opened. I had problem breathing. I felt like I'm getting no air. So they took me to an ambulance, and after an hour or 2 evacuated me to a hospital, and I spent a night over there.
Did you ever imagine that anything like this could have happened?
I never thought what happened will happen. And I thought we are so much stronger than them. We are such a strong air force. And all you need are some helicopters, attack helicopters, and airplanes, jets, to attack them, and it will be okay. And nothing of that happened that Saturday. We don't know why. We are not giving answers about that. When I was walking with my daughter, my little daughter, Rani, which is now 9, but she was even younger, 7, 8, and we were walking in the field outside the kibbutz and in the meadows, and she was asking me, Daddy, what would happen if the people from Gaza would try to cross the border? And I was telling her, they can't. The border is very strong, and the soldiers won't let them, and they have no chance to reach us.
Can you tell us a little bit about Amit?
My son Amit, as I said, he celebrated his 16th birthday, 2 weeks after that Black Sabbath. I don't think he was giving any cake or candles. He is a quiet boy. He's very sweet. And I'm not saying it just because I'm his mother. He's his father. He's a very sweet boy. He's a quiet boy. He likes football, soccer. He's a fanatic fan of the Juventus team in Italy. Always waiting for the games in TV and putting the jersey. He also liked his skateboard. He was going around the neighborhood with that a lot. He likes to surf when possible, checking the waves, and whenever it's possible and I can take him or his mother could take him, we were going to the sea and he was surfing. In the last year, he got real interested in barbecue. He wanted, every time we had barbecue, he wanted to be in charge of the meat, because he said I don't make it good enough and that he make it better. But I can say he making excellent meat, but I'll be lying. He's not yet there. He still have some work to do. That's who he is.
At this point, I pretty much thought that our interview was over. But then Nir told me that there was one more thing that he wanted to share with me, at which point he continued to tell me a shocking addition to this whole story.
And I didn't say it yet, but my mother also was shot when she was in the safe room with my father, because I'm busy with all the other things. So we didn't even get a chance to talk about that. But yeah, they were in their house. They are old people. They're both 79 years old. They got really lucky because, first of all, they didn't enter the safe room till noon. And my mother wrote in the WhatsApp family group, yeah, I can see the terrorists are moving from this neighbor to the other neighbor's house. And my sister, my older sister, she wrote, what don't you understand? Get inside the safe room. Stop playing like you are brave or something. So they entered. And then the terrorists reached their house. But my father was clever enough. He was a handyman before he got pension. So he fixed it like there would be no handle from the outside, so they won't be able to struggle with him. So first of all, they did try to open it up. They couldn't. They just make a mess in their house, rob it, and they went out. And after, let's say, an hour, my mother wrote again in the family group, they broke my plants and they made a mess in the house and they took away my club car. And my sister wrote them again, are you stupid or something? Get inside the safe room. And then my father needed to the toilet. So he opened the door and he went to the toilet. Okay. But he also decided that he had to flush the water. That made noise. So he flushed the water and entered the safe room again. They heard it. They came. He said that they broke the toilet to the ground, and then they shut the door. And that was the time that my mother got bullets to her belly, and she was bleeding for 9 hours. But luckily, she survived. She had an operation. The bullets were taken out of her liver, and she's now getting better. So I have that as well. So I got a lot on my mind, and I also have to take care of myself and eat and try to sleep. And the last thing about my family is I have a niece, my sister's daughter, which her father was killed. They were never married. They just had this daughter together. He lived in a neighborhood next to my neighborhood. And their neighborhood was massacred. There was a massacre. Like in my neighborhood, some were killed, some were kidnapped. In their neighborhood, the majority of the people were butchered and killed and murdered. And so did he. So that's the fourth angle of my family story.
Nir, do you have a message that you want to share with our listeners and share with the world?
Yes. After this Sabbath, this Black Sabbath, the world understands that we and them can't be neighbors anymore, and the peace doesn't seem close. And we will have to do whatever we will have to do to show our neighbors that it's not a good thing to do what was done in that Sabbath. And probably we'll have to be cruel and do whatever is necessary, because the situation now is really bad. But all that should take place after the kidnapped will be released. That should be the first priority of the people in Israel, the government, and the world, not before.
Nir, I want to say on behalf of our listeners that we're praying for you and your family, and of course we're praying for Amit to come home safely as soon as possible, along with all the other captives there. I know it's not easy to share the story, and we hope to see better days very, very soon. So thank you.
I'll say amen and thank you too.
When the hostage deal was struck and Hamas said that all children under 19 would be released, Nir and his family became cautiously optimistic. But that optimism quickly turned to grief when Amit's name was not on the list for the first day of the hostage release on Friday, November 24th, nor was it on the list for the 25th or the 26th. But then, on Monday, November 27th, when the day's list was released, Amit's name was there. For the first time since October 7th, Nir and his family had reason to believe that they would soon be seeing Amit again. Perhaps as part of the cruelty and psychological torture that Hamas showed during the week of hostage release, at the last moment, Amit's name was removed and replaced with that of Eitan Yahalomi. The next day, Tuesday morning, the list is released. Amit's name is painfully absent. But then, on Wednesday, November 29th, after 53 days in Hamas's captivity, Nir Shani returned home to his family. On Thursday morning, I woke up to a WhatsApp message from Nir with pictures of his entire family, including Amit, together at long last. A week later, I saw on the news that Amit was taking part in a candlelighting ceremony on the first night of Hanukkah, where he lit one of the 138 candles in honor of the remaining hostages. Amit said, "I'm excited and happy to stand here tonight on the first candle-lighting night of Hanukkah, here on Israeli soil. I want to thank everyone who worked towards my release and the release of other hostages. We must keep fighting until the last hostage returns." This is Israel Take 3, and I'm David Began. Help us to share these stories with the world by subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast. Thank you, Eli Margolis, for consulting and for logistical support. And thank you, Adam Margolis, for this musical outro. We will continue to share these stories as things unfold here in Israel.